And of course, we're live at the Tweever Studios. This is the POV podcast with me, Kate Rira. If you don't know, what have you been doing? We're on episode 7,000. No, just kidding. It's one more episode, of course. And today, we're going to be with a man who has carved the path of gospel music industry in Kenya. He declared he wanted to quit music or DJing, got into other things that I'll tell you. But first things first, of course, we have to honor the man himself, DJ Krowbar.
Yeah.
AKA Ngatia Karumba.
What up?
Sasa?
Poor son, fresh.
He came in when I was still getting ready a little bit. It's called getting ready. Being ready is that you stay ready.
Yes.
And I was still getting my makeup done, just getting ready. I walked in, I'm like, okay, this is DJ Krowbar. I have never met you in person. I've always seen you on the screen.
Very true.
And something so interesting is that he came in with this very floral jacket, something I barely see men do. Lakini Fafamokoro amekuja nazo.
Sana.
Why are you wearing floral coats? It's very different.
Let me tell you, I have a short story about this.
Yes.
My wife was actually, she had bought some curtains for another client.
Okay.
Na hii material ikabaki. Na kasema, let me do a jacket. Menishika, let me do a jacket.
Okay.
Akaifanya nikaicheki. Kasema haya. And I like this jacket. For real. Na nikaivaa. I remember, in fact, nikamwambia, when tafutie a plain t-shirt, kama hii, na ndamachisha.
Akwambia umevaa curtains hapa alafu mnuka.
Shikilia.
Au kuna kofia. Luku hivyo. Now yeah, you see, now it's come together. Now it's come together. Madam, unatengeneza curtain ndio imekuwa. But you look
and let me tell you, and that's creativity.
Yeah.
Creativity is people who make things work out of nothing.
For sure.
Unaniget?
That's what we want.
You know, unajua nimeka hapa nikiona ukifanya hiyo intro link. And pros are very interesting to watch.
Why?
They just go from boom to boom.
Who are you calling a pro?
Yani you know. Okay, any pro. Unakaa tu hapo unajifanya.
Nika pro. But nimekuwa kwa hii town.
From papa to chop. Hey. Rira, ta, lines, ta.
Let me tell you, I have done this for a while. I keep telling people that I didn't start music. I didn't start entertainment Tuesday. I've been doing this for over 7 years now. So that's why it's natural.
Yeah, it will come.
When things are natural to you, you kind of make it work.
Yes.
So, of course, shout out to Dj Karumba for making sure that Big Bazoo kuja hapa na hii nimekumbuka ni curtain style sao.
Yes, it's a good story and I like it. It's a good story to share.
It's really good. Yeah. And it's quite interesting that you are married to a creative.
Yeah.
Because most of the time you find creatives go for very corporate people.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting, but we're going to get there. Let's start with the journey.
We'll get there. We have time.
Where the journey began.
Yes.
DJ Krowbar, as far as I remember,
yeah,
he got into the industry and his push in the industry was, of course, gospel music. Yeah. From the get-go, that was your thing.
Very true.
But how he launched his career was not too gospel, if you ask me.
Okay.
He won a competition, a DJ competition.
Oh, yes.
They've been happening recently. I think the last DJing competition that happened is probably 3 years ago. Yeah. It was still sponsored by EABL.
Yes.
He was pushing an alcoholic brand.
Yes.
And then he is telling us he's doing gospel. Explain, 20 marks.
Let me tell you, it was a media nightmare for EABL when I won.
Oh, because you're gospel DJ?
When I entered the competition, I knew I was not going to play secular. I just knew my position.
Wait, you were playing gospel music?
I was playing gospel
pushing
music.
Alcohol?
No, you don't understand.
Okay.
The Pilsner, EABL has a brand known as Pilsner.
Yes.
And they were looking for the best DJ. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, they were not selective. Them, they were just looking for the best DJ.
Okay.
And I registered. And I registered playing gospel music.
Okay.
And I just went through the stages, and I won. It was... when I hear the backstory now from their end, so with the few people that I knew there, it was a nightmare for them. But what they did was, I give them props for, was at the end of the day, he is the best DJ.
Oh, I like that.
At the end of the day, it was for them, if we give it to this other guy or this other guy, we will have a lot to explain. But if we own up and remain true to our agenda, we will give it to the best.
Because
Na nikapewa.
it's not usual. Most of the time kuna watu huku nyuma
Yeah,
wanasukuma agenda
that was
yao.
the first time nilitokea kwa news the following day. At the 1 p.m. news. Ushaona news ukajiona?
Lunchtime news.
My friend, eh?
Ndio Mr. Karumba.
Mnakapo. Unasema, yesterday, East Africa Breweries had a publicity nightmare. This DJ won. He was playing gospel music, And a huge shout out to the late Dan Ngima, who was the brand manager then for Pilsner.
Yeah.
He stood his ground. He said, this guy won and this guy won.
Did you, other than, of course, winning the title of Mfalme, because Pilsner was pushing a brand with the
they were marketing
tag.
their product. Yeah.
Yes.
So what happened was we had a tour coming. There was a tour that was supposed to come to market the beer.
Yes.
And I did the tour. And we did that tour with DJ
so
Tibbs.
comical.
Yes. And we did the tour with Joe Mfalme.
Okay.
Well, the three of us.
Yes.
And let me tell you why for me it was not a controversy. I am called for the lost.
Okay.
I know that's my calling. I'm not called to shepherd believers. I'm not a pastor. I'm not called to be a pastor in church.
No.
I'm called for those guys out there. Unaelewa? So vibe yangu ni more of evangelism in that way.
Okay.
That's why I've never worked for a Christian media house. It's not that I've never gotten opportunities. Zote miukata.
But you prefer, to
I
dive
prefer
into
to
the
be-
secular world.
That's why I'm called
Okay.
to be there for the lost.
I like that.
Yes, I'm called to be salt in that.
So let's go on the tour.
Yes.
We're going club to club.
We're going clubs to clubs.
Party
across
after
the
party.
country.
Unajua mimi nakuanga party girl.
Yes.
Sherehe napenda.
Okay, I know you unapenda sherehe. Unapenda sherehe.
Kidogo tu.
Yeah, hata kama ni sana bado ni sawa.
Ni sawa?
Bado ni sawa.
So, party after party.
Yes.
Ndio hizo bia zimewekelewa pale.
Yes.
Na wewe una DJ.
Yes. Una DJ.
Tell me some of the spots, because I know you're in
Let
Nairobi,
me
you're
tell
in
you,
Kisumu, you're in Mombasa.
we were all over the country. One of the things is, innately we are spirit beings.
Okay.
You see, Kate lives in that body. Menishika. So Kate, mi naishi kwa hii mwili.
Yeah.
So that's why when people died nasemanga alienda. So mwili ndio imebaki. Meniket. So because you're spirit beings, the easiest thing to connect with is usually God. The easiest, because even him, he's a spirit.
Okay.
Yeye ndo alitengeneza hiyo spirit. So when I go and DJ in this environment, what happens is there is an innate connection.
In the club.
Innate
with
connection.
alcohol and all that
With
craziness.
all that. You see, as a believer, you don't just go to a club and play.
Okay.
You don't. Okay. You don't. They are systematics. That is not an environment where it's not like a church. Umenishika. Your environment ikona the spirits in charge. No. So humanita issue.
Well,
let me tell you. Environment ikona spirits in charge.
Yeah.
So when you go and play in a club, you have to take authority of that club.
Okay.
So I never go to a club alone.
Okay.
I always go with about 3 or 4 people.
Where?
So we go there during the day, we pray, walk the place, take charge.
You're praying in a alcoholic
we
pub.
Take charge. Have you ever seen how a president rules?
Yes.
If the president comes here, he will disorient us. They will come and
Security,
take control.
nini.
They will take control of everything.
Yeah.
They will be in charge of this environment.
Yeah.
So when I go, I am in charge of that environment.
Where?
Anywhere I go and I claim the space, and I know I'm here to represent God. Now God has given me authority over this environment.
Yeah.
So when people streaming, they don't know what they're streaming into.
They've come for their usual fun
They've
times.
come for a place. There are people there now.
Yeah.
Now imagine there are security guards there. There are angels all over. You can't see them. They're all over. A couple, they're in charge.
Okay.
They're here to watch over this guy as he ministers. When I leave, we leave. We all leave. Whoever was in charge now takes control.
But it's pandemonium. It has to be crazy.
No. You
It can't be normal.
It's war. It's war.
Because as someone who has been out and about,
Yes.
I won't lie, there is a little bit of darkness in clubs, and I see
it's not a little, it's a lot.
You're even told
Clubs
it's
can
sometimes
get
it's called a bad energy area. Utaona mtu unasikia tu mwili na ndio maana unajua even people get hangovers after because your spirit is literally very tired. But now I can imagine because these people have come for a good time.
Yes.
Hawajakuja kegosho. No.
You know, you need to understand another thing about music itself. As humans, we have rhythm.
Okay.
Innately.
Okay.
So, heartbeat yako iko na rhythm. So, innately in us, we have rhythm. So, when music plays, there is a synergy, there is an exchange of energy between you and the songs playing.
Okay.
So, hata kama song inaongea about Buddhism, inaongea about Jesus, the rhythm will always catch you.
One way or the other. Yeah.
And that's why you'll have a good time. That's why people will have a good time. Whether they're listening to gospel or secular music, you'll have a good time.
You were never booed in the club?
Me, I've been booed many times.
Guy, you were
occupational hazards. No. Anyone who enters into this career, you need to be prepared for rejection.
Yes.
And the first people to reject you are the innest people, the people around you. When Kate, you say, I want to enter the entertainment business, and your family goes like, are you crazy?
Where?
So that is the first layer of rejection that you face.
Yes.
Yeah. So already the people closest to you, they are rejecting a vision that you're pursuing.
Yeah.
So you grow a thick skin that you didn't think you have. Unaelewa? So when you go out there and someone like June or Anto or Sam tells you, it's nonsense to you.
Yeah, because
the closest people have rejected you.
You felt the heat.
Unaelewa? You felt that heat before.
Damn, don't I know it?
Don't
I know it?
Anyone who's a creative at a high level has experienced that.
I like that. Yeah. Of course, moving from winning Mfalme of the year.
Yes.
And of course, getting into the gospel music industry, doing shows severally. You have worked, of course, on stage and events and TV.
Yeah.
And there's now a big wave.
Yes.
And a big shift in TV.
Yes.
We're now consuming, more personalized projects.
Yes.
People have their own TikTok, they have their own podcasts like this one.
Yes.
And they're able to do things a little bit different and govern themselves.
Yes.
You have seen and witnessed the transition or the revolution, if we call it.
Oh, yes.
What do you think about that?
It's good.
Yeah.
We cannot avoid change. Anyone who enters into the entertainment business, whether it's music or it's film or whatever facet of it you enter, you need to mentally prepare that in every 4 years there's a change. Every 4 or 5 years, something will change.
Ulikuwa wapi kwani hukuniambia hizi vitu before?
You learn them as you
kwani hukuni show?
Let me tell you, mimi nilianza ku
I'm
DJ.
mad.
Mimi nilianza ku DJ 2004 when I was 19.
2004.
Unaniget? Okay? My life changed in 2008 when I won that competition.
Okay.
Unanishika?
Yeah.
3 or 4 years later nikaingia TV. Umeniget?
Yeah.
So nikachapa TV all the way mpaka 2015, 16 there.
Yes.
So between 04 and 16, I have seen changes. I saw the sound that was there in around 04 or 05, the sound that was there between 08 or 09, the sound that was there about 11, 12, the sound that was there between 15. You see it change in front of your eyes.
Every 4 years.
You see a new breed of crop, a new voice rise up, a new sound rise up. Things change. When you enter this game, you need to be fluid. Haitaki kushikilia.
You need to be malleable.
You need to be fluid. You need to be. You cannot lock yourself to a certain place.
Yes.
And then after a while, you'll get to a place where you'll become what we call entertainment is like a circle like this. You begin at the bottom.
Okay.
You begin at the bottom down here.
Yeah.
You rise, you rise, you rise, you rise. You get to the top of your game. There's a place in your career where you'll be at the top of your game.
Yeah.
Then you'll go down. You'll start going down. Me, I've been all these phases. I went to South Africa, went down. My lowest.
Yeah.
And then you start building yourself up. What I usually advise people is, instead of aiming for the top again, I want you to go to the center.
Okay.
Here at the center. Because here at the center, now you can determine the speed at which this thing is going to roll. Unaniget?
Yeah.
This is the place to aim now.
Ukishikilia pivot vizuri utaweza
you can't live a life in cycles. You can't. You have to refuse that life.
Okay.
The entertainment business will do that to you. It will take you through cycles. So you have to get to a place where you decide. And now going here is you're now going against the people who are setting the cycle. Sasa unaanza kuingia hapo katikati where the tornado is the quietest.
In the storm itself.
Uko nje ni kunoma. But hapo katikati, hao ndio wale wanasema tukishika hii kamba tuizungushe hivi. Nyinyi ndio mna decide how far it's going to go.
Yeah, that's a goal.
So unakaa unasema,
I know what I mean.
Now this is Kate. We're going to give Kate an opportunity on this media house. Kuna mtu anamake hiyo decision ya wewe kuingia.
Hiyo ndio goal.
Huyo ni mseko hapo kwa the center. Unaniketi? Yeye ndo decide this is the future of radio.
Now wacha nikwambie, if ever we ever sat and as an entertainment business and industry, if we ever sat and decided that we are the ones who are going to decide the laws that will help us govern us, the systems that will run, how our money will be distributed, we would be in a better place.
We'll make better decisions.
It's because we have let people who are not creatives do it. So I get you. Hapo kwa center nimeelewa.
We have not let them do it. It is a dirty game of clinging to power.
There's that.
It's a dirty game.
Power
and it's
damu.
Very messy and very expensive.
Power ni tamu lakini huwezi kata.
But then again, you have to understand, you can't hold on to power.
For too long.
But you have to use power wisely.
When you have it.
When it's there. This is power. This is power. You have power now.
Yeah.
So be faithful with it. Na hii power, na hii opportunity niko nayo. Be faithful.
Yeah.
Because haujui kitu itakuaje in the next 2 or 5 years. You don't know. Na plus nimesema changes so happen after every 4 or 5 years. So you will grow. You'll grow. Miss expect kukupata hapa in 3 to 5 years.
No. It has to be different.
Eventually it'll grow. You'll mold into something. After doing this, you'll go like, hey, maybe we can try this. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we can podcast like this. Oh, maybe da-da-da-da. You'll keep on growing. The more you hit certain limits, you go like, by the way, we can take this thing here. By the way, we can take... The more you keep on threshing, and expanding and expanding and expanding. And so that's how power is. And so... with the people in power now, there are people who like clinging to power. Now power can corrupt you. Na tumeona, mimi nimeiona firsthand, and all of us have seen how. Yes.
You said that, and I just remembered. Holy Dave was sitting on that seat.
Yes.
And he was like, he claimed, because of course his claim to fame was gospel music.
Yes.
And he quit gospel music.
Yes.
He's now doing other things.
Yes.
And he was like, it was very frustrating at the beginning because there are people who had certain positions who chose to make it harder for us to sip into the industry.
Yes.
They refused to make us be hard.
Yes. I know. Mimi nimepitia kitu. But you have to go against it at the end of the day. Let me tell you a short story of around 9 or 10 there.
Okay.
When these big gigs were happening, these big like corporate gigs were happening, artists were being paid anything between 30 to 70,000 per gig at that point.
Per gig.
Ilifika tu place nikasema, I am done. I'm not taking any of that money unless it's over 100. Do you know I stayed without a corporate gig for 2 years?
Uncle.
For real, for 2 years.
Uncle.
Without gigs.
Uncle Karumba, why?
They call you, they say we have 30, nasema sichukui. They say we have 50, nasema sichukui. They say they have sichukui, mpaka ifike ile do nataka. Do you know what happened? Eventually, and this is so funny, God yoeka tu ase in power. God yoeka, at specific point in time, certain people will be placed in power. There'll be some genuine people that God tutasema, huyu acha nimchukue hapa nimwekelea
hapa.
One of these event companies, ilifika tu place wakaulizwa, hey, how come you guys don't use DJ Krowbar? Kasema, oh no, it's not available and he charges this amount. Did we say we don't have it?
Who said we don't have the money?
Say we don't have the
money. Pesa sio shida.
Buddha, do ilianza kutoka.
After 2 years of no events.
After 2 years of no gigs. You just have to say no to some of this nonsense.
Yeah.
You have to say no.
Stick by your guns.
Say no, but be consistent. It's a very funny way of adding value. It's a very funny way, and it is risky. It needs a certain heart.
It's risky, let me tell you why. And you're comfortable enough to say that in 2 years that you're able to do that. Now, I'm sorry to say this, but you're speaking from a point of privilege. There are others who can't do that for 2 years. No one can do that.
No, I'll be honest with you.
Yes. Because even me, I've had that. I've had a hiatus from media for a while. And I'm able to do that because maybe I come from a point of small privilege.
Yes.
Kuna watu hawawezi. Aizikaa
But you
hata
see,
miezi mbili bila ya
and
kula.
let me tell you, and it is good for you to make that decision. Do you know when you make that decision, very many people behind you, their lives change.
Okay.
Very many DJs I mentor, their lives change because I was hard. Now, there are two ways of growing. One is at a point of privilege, you have a capacity to say no.
Okay.
On the other end, there's someone who doesn't have capacity to say no. They have to take those gigs at that amount.
Hizo 30K
they have to do it. They have to do what they have to do.
Yeah.
Menishika, nothing wrong with that. Both of you are growing. It's just that you have to choose. Huyu msee akichukua hizi ma 30, ma 50, ma 70, itakuwa ngumu kuitisha hiyo do huko mbele.
Na hiyo ni ukweli.
Inakuwa ngumu sana. Juu the people who are in power wanajua value yako ni hii. Na wana struggle sana kuchange.
Mimi nasikia kujam.
Yes.
Ulikuwa wapi? Where have you been? Because
man, Kate looks like we were meant to meet today.
Yes, but you know, it hurts me because remuneration in every industry, not just entertainment, every industry is so unfair that people are not remunerated the way they're supposed to be. Watu hawalipwi vile wanafaa.
Yes.
Jamani, there's a day I was sitting across someone, I met him, and it was just such a random meetup. And we were talking, and then he told me, I'm recruiting guys for IT in Kenya.
Yes.
And I told him, so how much are you guys paying people? As the company has said, we can pay 150K. Tunaweza lipa watu 150K.
Yes.
But he said it in dollars. That's 1,150. I don't know.
About $1,200.
Yes. Sabu inasumbua mimi. So, and I told him, so, okay, are you going to pay people? That's like, no, but Kenyans are willing to take 20K. I was like, what? He's like, now, me, when I go back, this is a recruiter telling me, a foreign recruiter, confessing that Kenyans have a tendency of taking lower.
I know why.
Mwenye pesa anasema, chukua hii pesa, I am willing to pay you $1,000 a month. But there are people who are willing to take even 25. And he said, and I told him, aren't you going to tell them that there's much more in the bank for them? I'm like, no. Of course, my company, the one who has given me the job, will get back for that. And even myself, I've gone through it. I have underquoted myself so many times, not knowing my value.
Then this is the thing. Umesema, most of the biggest problem with underquoting ni njaa. And siongei njaa about greed, naongea njaa about genuine hunger. Genuine hauna. Ujui venye utakula, ujui venye utalala, ujui venye utaishi. Njaa inafanya opportunity kikam, umake decision kama hiyo. Now, for that guy in a position of power, of putting, because a guy like him knows, if I put 150K in this person, I'm not changing his life, but literally a whole generation.
Yes.
A whole generation. A person like that in power knows. And he chooses not to do that, then it's on him. For real, it's on him. True. Because uyo mse ataenda lilie God aseme, aki God, just take care of this thing, nini. Itakupata, my friend.
One way or the other.
One way or another, itakupata. Na itakupata in ways of financial capacity, but itakupata in another way. Such is life.
Ukijua frustrate mtoto.
If you have capacity to put money in people's pocket, put it in their pockets. Do you know what happens? They might never even give you a dime. But guess what? When these people go to bed, they'll say, oh man, just where Kate is, just watch over her.
Amen.
Yani, just that is so powerful. That is so powerful. Than upatie mse $1 million shillings, after he has to give you 100 G's.
One or the other.
Any person I've put money in their pockets, and they bring me money, I'm like, don't do that.
I mean, lazima nirudishe mkono.
There are other ways. There are other ways of saying thank you.
Yeah?
For real. There are other ways of saying thank you.
But
neatly, I don't take business that. Let me tell you, Kate.
Ngatia na ile njaa iko hii town.
Maybe I've told June this story. Did I ever share the story of how I walked away from millions? Yes.
You walked away from millions?
I walked away from 4 million.
I feel like you... Krowbar,
let me tell you.
You're coming from a very big point.
Let me share this story because people have to hear this.
Ebu niambie. So you're telling me you walked away from millions? It's a lie. How'd you walk away from millions?
Walked away from millions.
How dare?
Let me tell you this story.
Let me just even say, how dare you?
Exactly, walked away from 4 million.
Let's hear this.
So I'm called to be a brand ambassador by this big company. I'll not name drop it. So I'm called to be a brand ambassador. Go into the room. Room is filled with people. We're about anything between 7 to 10 people.
Yes.
Came with my 2 people. Like 5 or 6. tumekaa, tumeongea, we like your brand, this is what we want to do for the next, it was a 2-year deal. It was a 2 to 3 year deal.
Okay.
Menishika. Kakaa, tukachapa evaluation yetu, tukaona, we'll charge you guys 4 million for this. All right? Na kila mtu hapo tukaelewana, na meeting ikaisha, na tukaenda.
You're the one who quoted the 4 million.
Oh, we quoted it.
Okay.
We were there prepared.
Okay.
So we went there, we evaluated, we knew what kind of cost we would incur in doing this and stuff, and then we knew. So tukapeana bei yetu. Then a few weeks later, 2 of the guys in that meeting called me for a lunch. I'm like, awesome, let's meet up. Unajua hizi vitu zo take time because procurement, nini, what, signatures have to be cleared. This is a lot of
legal
money. Legal stuff, lawyers, nini, contracts.
Yeah.
So we go there, we go, so ni aje, so ilienda fresh. But now, everyone in that room, we are all in sync, everything is good, but we want you to up it to 7.
Okay.
All right? Up it to 7. So when the money comes, you take your 4, you give us our 3. Wanishika, si wali tisha 4. Uchukue 4 yako. Sisi tupatie 3.
Okay.
Hata siku need kucall mse. Mimi niwaambia tu wazi, guys, manzi, thanks for real. Me, I'm honored that mulikaa mkaona I'm worthy of becoming this. Deeply honored, for real. But that I can't do, bro. That I can't do. We can't steal from a company.
Oh.
We can't steal.
Okay, so you were being asked to overquote.
You know, people need to understand this.
Yes.
You work for that company, you get remunerated for working for that institution.
That's true.
Unaniget? Na ni wewe ulitisha. But vitu kama hizi, you are being unfaithful with the resources of that company. Those are not your resources.
I am of a different opinion.
Those are not your resources, Kate, at the end of the day.
I hear you there.
I get your opinion.
Yes.
I get where you're coming from. You see, Kate, if you owned that company and you find your senior
that money
employees,
was lost.
Yeah, it was not lost. It was stolen.
Yes, it was stolen.
Unanishika, they are making these dubious deals and stealing. If they want a pay rise, wakuja tu kwako na kutisha hiyo pay rise.
You see, that's the catch-22. I've worked for those big corporations. Yes. And a lot of money exchanges hands, and we had I'm literally supposed to be doing a certain.
And let me sorry. And I'm gonna tell you why I said no.
Okay.
Is one day, your 4 million, what nimesema, me and my wife will do this with that money when that money comes out.
Yeah.
Umenishika?
Yeah.
So what if one day my kid comes and says, so Dad, how did you do that? Okay? And I remember the dubious deal I had to get into to be able to do that.
Okay.
So ulipataje hiyo nyumba? Hiyo haulipataje? And then you look at your kid, Kate, and then you know, if you tell your kid the truth,
they'll look at you different.
They will completely look at you differently. It will never be the same again. And I remember going home and telling my wife all this, and I said, if our kids ever point at anything we have and say, how did you get that? Hakuna ku hold back on information. We know how we got that. Na kumkele siku tulifanya hii, and then we did this, and then we did this. So that money tulifanya hii na tukafanya hii, and that's how we were able to get that. You remember that? Na kumkafanya tulipata hii, na kumkafanya tulipata hii, so you can account for your wealth.
Which is something a lot of youth cannot do right now.
And let me tell you why this is important.
Yes.
People, we live in a world where it's extremely materialistic. Kate, ever since we were kids, we grew up watching rappers in chains, having 10
the
cars.
latest cars.
You know, we grew up knowing having
money is everything.
Is everything, or having money is everything.
Yeah.
When you start making it, you get a very interesting reality check. Money is a tool. And that is the perspective that was never sold to us. Money is everything, is what is sold to us. But money is a tool. If I want to wear clothes, I use that as a tool to get those clothes.
Yes.
It's a tool. It's not everything. It's how you use the tool that matters.
Yes.
That is that. Another perspective I'm going to drop right here to the people watching. When you don't have money, draw your line of contentment. Chora mali utatoshekea. Let me even drop examples. Let's say you decide, let me just drop mine.
Okay.
Right here. I would love to have maybe 2 homes. One in the village and an apartment in the city.
Yeah.
Many kids. So that nikijipata in the city, I have a place to live. Maybe a car for myself. I love motorbikes. I'd love to have a motorbike. Maybe a car for my wife.
Yeah.
If God willing, God puts me in a place where I can buy cars for my kids, so be it. It would be an honor to be a blessing to them.
Yeah.
For real, it would be. But other than that, I don't think I need 2 cars. Me.
It's unnecessary.
Me as Karumba.
I get you.
I don't think I need to have 2 cars. I don't think my wife needs to have 2 cars.
Because she can't be with them
we
at the
only
same
need,
time. Yeah.
Now you are seeing it. So draw your line. So that, Kate, if I come into your parking lot and I find 2 cars, you're now starting to get greedy.
Let me tell you something. Let me take you back to high school.
Yes.
There's this girl, and I remember her. Wherever she is, Maureen, I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
I asked her once, and because, you know, that message of money is everything was really good. And I could see rich people, and I love it. I won't lie. I love it.
Yeah.
The
Money
jets.
is good. Yes.
I love it. It looks really nice.
Yes.
It smells really good around there. I remember this one time we were chilling, and I asked her, what do you want in life? Like, what things do you want? And she just said, I want enough. I was in high school. I was like, what? Man, girl, we want to live in a Runda.
Yes.
We want to have 5 Range Rovers. We want it. Why would you say you want to have enough?
Yeah.
And over the years, there's a time I think she moved to Coast. Like, she was always content. But when I look back now, she knew what enough was. But you see the message of the cars, the big pimping, you know, gold chains and whatever, that's a message.
I like that. Yeah.
We didn't see it. For me, I was like, why do you want enough?
Yes.
Me nataka jet. So I wasn't getting it. But later when you ukikaka kwa dunia unaona, enough is what will fill your cup. And most of the time, even it's not money sometimes.
Yes.
It's a good family and friends that make you smile.
Very true.
But then sometimes I feel like we're speaking from a point of privilege because hata kama una ya kukula, kwanza unataka tu ukule. You know?
There, you answer ifo. You answer ifo. It answer na, man, you just want to do what you can do at that point. But eventually the mind develops. If you allow, you have to allow.
Yeah.
There are people who just never allow their minds to develop. And it's unfortunate.
Unajua ni kama umetusi watu na hujawatusi.
Well,
Ati some people refuse their minds to develop.
very true. It's a reality. It's a reality you see outside here.
Okay.
And I'm sure umeiona.
True. People would rather stay in the mud and in the craziness
utaka tu one maisha yake ni hapa na shatosheka na nini. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and you will stay there.
Sawa.
But let's go back to you rejecting the 4 million.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I'm supposed
The story
to,
changes.
It changes.
Oh, it changes.
Umekataa 4 million.
Nimekataa.
Ulipewa bei ya 7.
Nikapewa bei ya 7, nikawambia kitu haiwezi ingiana na nikawa thank. So that was sifikiria ni kitu personal.
Okay.
Kaambia tu, by the guys, thank you for this. I appreciate. Mimi niko fresh. Keep well. Success on this. Na I hope mpate msee mwingine mwenye atawapatia hiyo deal yenye mnataka.
Sawa.
All right? A few years later,
Okay.
I meet the wife
Of
one of those 2 guys.
Okay.
And guess what this lady tells me? Ananiambia, what you did changed my husband's life.
Okay.
He never thought someone can do that. In his mind, I was a fool at that
To
point.
let go of
How are
4
you
million
walking away
Kenya
of this?
shillings.
But I want to tell you,
Yes.
this man now lives for God because of you. Let me narrow this down.
Okay.
If I had taken that 4 mic and given them the 3, right? Guess what would have happened? Atakuwa ananiona kwa TV, anasema, this guy's a thug.
Hata tulifanya.
Umse anakuambia hapa uokoke nini?
Tulichapa deal na
Chapa deal na umse. Nonsense. credibility yako, the person, the creator of the universe, the person I am representing, nimemshukisha to 3 mic.
We.
Unaniket?
Yeah.
Say for the rest of his life, if me being alive was for the sake of this guy, it's worth it.
Okay. I like that.
For real. That means not only him, not only his wife, not only his children, but any generation that comes out of this life will be saved because of that one single incident.
I like that. It's pushing for integrity, something we are lacking.
That is worth walking away from millions.
Wait, I love that.
Lives will be changed for good.
Wait, kwa nini una church?
It's because I'm not called to be that.
Okay.
So,
I
mean, nikianza nilikwambia what I'm called for.
Yes, you did. But you're seeing impact, and me, I won't lie, I'm all about people impacting people's lives in one way or the other. My question with that is, sometimes we want karma to happen.
Yes.
We want bad things to happen to bad people.
Yes.
And of course, I don't wish it on any corporate, but it's something that we cannot deny. Corporates right now all over the world have an edge of advantage all the time, where you find the earners, the workers, the corporates are earning just
very little wages.
Ile chini tu ile imemwagikia tu hapa. But a big chunk of it goes to executives and people who are just playing around with the money. And they're not really playing around the money, but they have acted like they deserve.
Yeah.
We have CEOs that would earn over 50 million, and yet someone kwa hiyo company and earn 15K. It makes sense. That wage gap is really serious. So that's why people do things like that.
Yes.
That's why they be like, chapa deal ndo tukule. Because the wage gap, not only in this country, all over the world, that's why we're seeing this impact.
Yes.
Of middle class watashuka sasa wakuwe after middle class ni
lower middle class.
I'm so sorry, I sound so insensitive. After atakuwa chini lower middle class, then they will be rich and poor because of that wage gap.
The gap will continue growing.
I hope you understand that that's where iyo njaa ilitoka.
I know. Me, I totally get it. But you can how do I put this? There are things I tell myself, and I have a calling, and my job is to be faithful with this calling in the responsibilities that I'm doing.
Okay.
DJing, teaching, sound design, these are responsibilities that I do.
Yeah.
That my calling is active within those responsibilities.
Okay.
When you get, so I cannot limit myself to a client or to a salary.
High five. High five.
Aki, I can't.
You're beyond that.
Aki mimi nimekataa kuishi
Wacha
your
nikwambie,
life.
kwanza if you're in the business of like saving people and having impact, small interactions are not, it's not it. There's something bigger. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
There's something bigger. And ukisikia Krowbar kiongea hivi, ujue pia ni mwalimu. He's a teacher. I came to understand you're a sound teacher. I didn't know. Because me, I've always thought of you as a DJ. I always knew you work in corporate, but I was like, what is he doing? How is it teaching now?
I love teaching.
Yeah.
Teaching for me, you remember that circle I was talking about? Teaching for me is pushing me into that circle.
Yeah.
So what it's pushing me into is God is putting me in a place to raise the next generation of talent.
What we need.
I am equipping these people, but not only equipping them in terms of skill, but in terms of mental, in terms of heart, just having the right mind as you enter this environment. This is the heart to enter. This is how dark the space that you are entering into. It's always good to tell these people the truth.
Yeah.
Unaelewa?
Yeah.
And I never call my students kids. I've called them people.
Wako na ID.
For real. Na mmoja ako hapa.
Teachers, yes, but teach
these people that
grown-ups.
God, these people that God has given me an opportunity to be in their lives. I am faithful with the knowledge that I have.
Yeah.
I disseminate it freely. Freely. Yani, when I enter the class, I don't see my students as ADMI students. They are my students. During that space, you are my student. You're just about to get the best of me.
I like that.
And I'm not holding back.
Because
Let's go.
We really struggle. Teaching in this country has gotten a bad rep because it has a very colonial back taste to it, for lack of a bad word. It's very authoritarian. It's follow these rules or you will fail. This is the way to go. It's not
let me tell you
evolutionary.
a funny story that happened with my kids.
Yeah.
So my kids, when we came back to Kenya, we were homeschooling them. Then after a while, we started getting busy. Then I told those kids, me, I can't homeschool you anymore. You guys have to go to
Warudi kwa system ya shule.
Ingieni shule. So the school they went, they were being taught French. And my kids were struggling with French. And then I told them, hey, listen. Told my daughters, do you guys care about this thing? And they said, no. Then do this. So when you go to class, respect that teacher. Respect the teacher. If the exam comes, just write your name and walk out. I'm okay.
Oh.
Just write your name and walk out. If there are
You
things,
can't tell kids that.
yes, you have to. And let me give you context. You have to tell the kids what is important and what is not important. Can French change? If you learn French right now.
I learned French. All the way.
So it depends if, is French making sense to you?
I haven't used it in a very long time.
Exactly. Do you think let me tell you what is important to my kids. I told my kids, first and foremost, you are an African child. You're born in Africa, okay? So as an African child, there's one thing you need to get correct.
Yeah.
You need to be able to read, write, and speak an African language at a high level.
Yeah,
in this case, it
yeah.
is Swahili.
Yeah.
So mtoto wa kiasili ya Kiafrika lazima aweze kuandika, kuzungumza na kusoma Kiswahili. As an African kid, that is your pride because Asian kids are doing that.
Yeah, they speak Mandarin very
European
well.
kids are doing that. You are an African kid, you need to be able to do that.
Me, I do it.
The rest is nonsense.
Yeah.
Menishika. So, concentrate on your Swahili. English because it's an international language.
Yeah.
Menishika. Math because it's good. It will help you in life.
Yeah.
All the other units, ask yourself what is interesting to you.
It makes it easy for them to learn.
I told them, my love for you is not based on your performance.
Oh, thank you.
I don't love you because you'll be at the top of the class.
You
Whether you are the last of my class, my love for you is there.
That message is so heartfelt to children because we're seeing children in KCP, KCSE taking their lives. Mtoto amepata D.
It's a pressure environment.
Ameogopa. Hata hataki kupeana results. I remember I was so scared to give my results. My parents already knew.
Yes.
But then I was like, I hid in my room because I felt like I hadn't done
well. I
well.
struggled in primary a lot. I was an average kid. In a class of 40 people, between 18 and 23. Yeah. And not even once did my mom ever tell me that you have to be number one. My mom just told me, be faithful with your classes and respect your teachers. So that's all that matters.
You're just repeating the same message to your kids.
And guess what? I'm here changing the world.
So let's recap kidogo.
Yes.
You've gone to South Africa. You're doing homeschooling.
Yes.
You're homeschooling children in South Africa.
Yes.
Why did you leave Kenya in the first place?
I left for studies.
Oh, umeenda kusoma. Ulibeba kila mtu.
It was decided even before it has happened. When me and my wife got married, we had some deal breakers that we talked about. Okay. So one of the deal breakers is if any of us ever relocated over 6 months, we are all going. So when these plans started coming through, it was already decided we are all going because I'm going there for years.
You have gone to study. What is Wanjiru doing at this time?
My wife alikuwa ameenda support, but my wife is a River Road woman.
Okay.
Wife ya mine. Wife of mine is a woman who knows how to make things work with less. That girl
it's something
is a
for
beast.
People called Wanjiru. It's that something kawaida. We do it.
Sector. My wife is street smart.
Oh yeah?
I am book smart. Okay. My wife is street smart. Shop yake nimekwambia kwa wapi? River Road.
Kule downtown.
Huyo dem ako level yake.
So ese alikuwa anauza nini?
Wife yangu tulifika isi akacheki hivi akaona hapa nafaa kubuy mashini pap materials. Alikuwa anafanyanga markets. Unaongea hizi Masai markets but uko.
Okay.
That's what kept us going. In fact, on our second year, biashara ya my wife ililipa rent for a whole year.
Wewe wacha jokes.
That girl is a
wewe uko shule, yeye ndio anatafutia familia.
Oh man.
You were not working at all. You were in school the whole time.
I never worked in South Africa.
Ulikuwa unasoma nini?
I was doing audio engineering.
Hey.
I was doing audio engineering.
Do you know what kind of strength in marriage it takes for you to allow your husband to take the back seat financially?
Mimi nimekufia my wife. My wife alijua ni season yake ya kunikufia.
Munani test nyinyi watu. You people are testing.
No. Let me tell you one thing. Once people agree.
Yeah.
because my wife did that for me, I graduated at the top of my class.
Oh, wow. Because
I wouldn't have been the best, if I didn't have time for school. And plus, on top of that, God convicted people. See, tukienda SA, we did not have money. A lot.
Yeah.
When we went there, God convicted people.
Where were you
I
living?
told God, I am not calling anyone for money. I'm not going to call anyone and borrow money.
Okay.
God would convict people in Kenya. And people would say, hey, Krowbar ni aje, hey, manze, I've just thought about you. I don't know how to help you. And then I'll say, hey, dude, here's the bank account for the school. Whatever you want to put there, you put.
Wow.
I got many calls like that. I remember another friend of mine who was my neighbor paid me a visit in South Africa.
Yeah.
Tukakaa naye for a few hours. Akaniambia, you know what, bro? Your rent this year is on me. Me, I lived a miraculous...
Those are the friends we want.
I lived a miraculous life in South Africa. My sister called me and said, hey, man, I see the kind of grades you're getting. What can I do for you? My mom, the same. My dad said, actually, hey, your rent for the final year is on me.
How many years were you in SA?
3.
So, where mnakaa wapi? Gauteng, Johannesburg, mnakaa wapi?
Tunakaa Cape Town.
Cape Town.
One of the most expensive cities in Africa.
Now.
It is.
Mmeenda Cape Town. Mmeenda to the most expensive city.
Kusoma.
And was there any difference in relating with the people in South Africa? Like yourself?
Definitely, yeah. South Africa is a young country. They're about 20-something years old. It's not like Kenya. We are well into our 60 now. I think we just turned 60 years. We got our independence in 63.
Tuko 50.
So
Tumeturn 60 kweli bado. Bado jotan.
Tunaturn 60 this year?
Maybe,
yes.
We are 57 now.
So, we are quite a number of generations past freedom. So we are at a different space. South Africa is very young in that area.
Yeah.
Menishika.
But also still very advanced as well.
There's a lot of heart.
Oh, they're still in pain.
That's why they are xenophobic in nature.
Did you experience it at all in class or something?
No, I think it's because of where we used to live. I experienced racism, not xenophobia.
Racism?
Yes.
In Africa?
Yes. Cape Town is predominantly colored.
Okay.
South Africa has 4 races. Black, colored,
White.
Indian, white.
Yeah.
Menishika, white are the smallest majority.
Yes.
But majority of them live in Western Cape, where Cape Town is. And 50% of the population in Cape Town is colored.
So what happened? What was this racist
thing? Ni mtu anakuona tu anaona tu you're a black guy and treat completely differently. You see them clutch their handbags and you come it's very subtle. Yeah. It's very subtle. Mtu anakuona hivi kwa nini anainua kioo yake ya kioo.
In Africa?
In Africa, bro.
Bro, unajua ndo uko kwetu?
Manze uko home. Uko home. I remember nikiambia msee I'm from Kenya. And then akanisikiza, akaniambia, is Kenya in the US?
Tatiga.
Umeona hizo faces zenye mnanipea hapa kwa hii room?
You guys.
The amount of ignorance, I was shocked.
I'd be so mad.
Is because of venye naongea kizungu. And I have a thick African accent. I don't sound American. Umeniget?
Yeah.
So I'm from Kenya, nikamfungulia Google Maps, I'm sorry. Nikamfungulia Google Maps, nikamwonyesha this is Kenya, this is South Africa is. It's just here. Oh, okay. So you are from Africa. Nakwambia ile ignorance utapata nayo huko.
Sometimes I find it insulting.
It is.
It's a little insulting.
Yes.
Especially with the fact that some people have been made to be the superior race than we are. But anyway, it's not here nor there. So you went to SA, you come back, and you were homeschooling them.
Yes, we were homeschooling them in South Africa. Yes. We come back, end of 2019, 2020, pandemic. We continue
mulikuja pali ilikuwa
Let me tell you, God did a crazy thing for us during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I come into the country like this. My former employer, Standard Group, says, please tell me you're back. I say yes. You're going back on air.
Okay.
So that is a guaranteed salary.
You're good?
I come back. A buddy of mine forwards my CV at ADMI. I have 2 jobs. During the pandemic, I had 2 jobs.
Where?
Me, I never struggled.
Sisi tukifutwa.
Let me tell you, me hata nilikuwa nasikia guilty when I went to buy a big TV. I was like, I hope what was.
Angalia savings. Unajua mimi kwanza I'm those people. Nilikuwa pale kwenye knife.
Guy. So, even though salaries zilishuka, me never struggled during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Then 2021 ikakam, pandemic ikaanza kuisha. Then here we are 2022, it was just back to normal now. Yes.
Okay, that's
good. So that was that. The thing was now entering Kenya, but now going into a different industry, like film. Many get because I was in the music business. Many get I was in the music business. Now coming back, I'm entering into the film.
Wow. But it was good. It was beneficial for you to leave.
It
even
was.
gave you a different.
I needed that separation.
I think it was also really good as a test also for your marriage.
It was.
Because it takes a lot of grace for any woman, especially in this day and age, to say, you know what, I'm going to pick up a lot. I'm going to help the family. And I'm going to work with you. I'm always I'm very driven in my career. I've always been that person.
And don't stop.
Yes. And it scares me because taking that leap of faith and saying, I will go with you to another country, and then I stop my career, that thing scares me. I'm like, I stop my journey for you?
Yes.
No. That scares me.
It was let me just say something.
Yeah.
It's not a decision every person can make.
Yeah.
I have to put that on the table. It's not a decision everyone can make. It's a huge leap.
Yeah.
It's a blind leap, to say it. When you get you're literally you just know the next step. You don't know the next 10 steps. You just know the next one. So you keep just taking the next, and such is life. And that is a life of faith, and it is crazy, and it's not for everyone. Yeah. There are people who just can't live by faith, and there are people who live by faith.
But also, I do understand it takes a lot. It depends with the person you're having faith in. You know, if you're having faith in the right person, it will come back the right way.
My wife met me when I was down.
You're a hustler.
Tuligrow pamoja na yeye. I never refer myself as a hustler. I have never hustled in my life.
Okay, when you were
when I was down, nikianza.
Okay,
tulikuwa na yeye tukiomba na bus fare. So tumegrow. So ameniona nikipasua dream. Na kona hiyo dream ikikam true. Na nikamwambia there is another dream now. Na akasema I'm gonna run with your dream.
Hey, she's buying into this dream.
Yeah, udema ameona dream. But unaona akona confidence ya kuona how mali DJing ilinitoa.
Yeah.
So anaona nimeona dreams zake zikikam true. And I know how aggressive he is with his dreams and stuff.
And I have to even give her
I think flowers. The person to bring here is my wife now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Her journey is
and Kate,
beautiful.
I'm not joking.
For real, I'll bring her.
Bring the girl here.
Wanjiru ushasikia utaitwa.
Bring the girl here.
For my namesake is welcome.
Yes.
Na
mtaconnect.
She can come.
Mtaconnect.
There's something that it hit me hard because the conversation of family love and the pain of seeing your spouse going through a tough time is really, it's not. It's hard. It's hard. Yeah. You came out and you wished your wife a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Or happy birthday.
It was a happy birthday.
A happy birthday, but it was not really a happy birthday because she was suffering from acute kidney injury.
Yeah, very true.
How did she land there and how is it? Because I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Statistics tell us more than often that when a woman falls sick, men really disappear.
Oh, yes.
I have so many friends.
Oh, yes.
Once they fell sick, their husband
we are seeing it
firsthand.
Yes.
There's a DJ literally who saw his wife take poison and he was like, you do your thing, you go.
Yes.
It shocks me sometimes to see a man come out and be like, I will walk with you, when others are like,
yes. How do I explain this? When I married the girl, the father brought the girl and they said it's now your responsibility. Manishika. So on top of this girl being my wife, I'm technically like her father because ni responsibility yangu now. I have kids. My kids are my responsibilities. My wife is my responsibility. Well, now that umechekia jani yote, unaona what my wife did for me tukiwa South Africa. Maniket alikufia team. You know, the beast with them. And here we are, ako diagnosed na acute kidney failure.
How do you get acute kidney? How do you get it?
Acute kidney failure comes out of kidney failure. It's actually a kidney injury.
Okay.
So a kidney injury comes in many ways. You know, for her ilikuja out of high blood pressure. With every pregnancy, imekuwa amekuwa na preeclampsia with every pregnancy.
Oh, sorry.
So every pregnancy imekuwa high pressure. And now our son was born in Feb 2020.
It's a Feb baby.
Yeah, so tunatoka OC, we think the pressure has gone.
Yeah.
But kumbe inaendelea. 2021, we feel like it's gone. But nonda, ni kama ijaenda. 2022 was the year. So one day naamka ananiambia skipoa, we rush to the hospital, get checked. Unfortunately, ako diagnosed na kidney failure. We don't believe it. We're in shock, we can't believe.
Because even a young woman, hizo ni ugonjwa za watu wazee.
We visited 3 hospitals to literally accept the diagnosis. Not accepting it was not immediate. Was not immediate. We really struggled with accepting the diagnosis. We just thought, these guys are just here, hospitals are just chasing for money and stuff, nanini. You know, that's how you think at that point. Literally, us accepting the diagnosis took like 2 months.
But she's still suffering. She's still in pain.
Unaendelea? No. Tuko hosi, ako hospitalized.
Yeah.
Bado tuja accept. But we are accepting treatment, but we are thinking...
We're like, no, labda ni kitu ingine.
We are there, we are saying, Jesus will heal this girl. We are there praying, we are there fasting, we are there. We haven't accepted. So you get your partner makes sense.
Yes,
Hata kama tuna pray. Well, took a while to accept. In fact, to accept, Joy was released, tukaendelea na dialysis, then akapata a blood infection, then akakuwa hospitalized again for another 3 weeks.
Where?
Then wife akiwa hosi akasema, okay, Karosh, looks like we have to accept this.
And you have a newborn?
Huyo sasa alikuwa shakuwa mkubwa. At that point alikuwa 2 years.
Okay, so.
Because sasa ni 2022. When you get, So we are there, we are adjusting mentally to this, and we are acclimatizing to the new season. Unaingia into a season where you don't get heads up.
Okay.
Hauna heads up, hauna reference. And no one is calling you who has I remember.
No one who has ever gone through this is coming to tell you
within
how
your
to deal
circles,
with this. Yeah.
there is telling you how to maneuver this.
Yeah.
Mwenye alikam actually was like 4 or 5 months later, and it was my aunt. Because the husband alikuwa na kidney failure. So akakama katuambia, this is
what you do.
But manzi ulikam a bit late, but either way I'll take what I'll take.
Yes. Yeah.
Menishika. So it was quite a huge wake-up call. Adjusting to that, adjusting into diet, into the new expenses, into medicine. Thank God for NH. Manze, if you're watching this, now lipa NHIF lipa.
NHIF imekusaidia?
Boss, me I don't pay for Joy's dialysis.
Oh yeah, because they have the kidney.
If you go to a public hospital or a missionary hospital, NHIF takes care of that. Boss. So our expenses are usually her diet and her medicine and her transportation.
Damn.
When you get other than that, it's an expensive thing because dialysis is what 9.5 na nafanya 2 per week. So you kama what 20 Gs, 20 times 4 is 80. It's an expensive condition.
Wacha kunywa pombe. Si ati alikuwa anakunywa pombe. But those are the things that come when you don't take care of yourself.
So tukaendelea, and let me tell you, this new season has pushed us. Many nights we've gone to bed crying.
Oh, because it's actually a painful process.
No, it's not a painful process. It's in terms of slow down. The beast in my wife. You know, the amount of mental strength she has to put in.
Yeah.
To become that woman now, with 2 days taken away from her, some days 3, some weeks 4.
Because it's recovery as well.
Because some days unaamka unajua uko na dialysis, then some days unasema, man, I'm feeling so weak. So zile vitu ulikuwa umepapa skudu leo huwezi do. Uko weak. It hits you on the head. Yani cheek was so hard. This year ilibidi tuchape therapy. We needed mental wellness.
You now needed therapy to understand how do you conquer this disease after.
Man. Just being in the right mindset for a partner.
Yeah.
Unaniketa? Yeah. There was a time, end of last year, I was in a space where I was looking at my wife.
Yeah.
Na sikuwa namuona kama my wife.
Akai venye alikuwa naka?
Nilikuwa namuona. No, alikuwa naka. Ukiangalia my wife, she doesn't look sick at all.
Okay,
anakaka weke.
Yeah.
For you can't even tell she's going through what she's going through.
That's good.
But in my mind, namuona, I need to take care. So in my mind, it shifted from being a husband to a caregiver.
Oh, yes.
You can make sense?
Yes, I
so
hear.
Anytime I see her, naenda, what do I need to do? What do I need to do?
And it's
what
not like that all the time.
It's not
Sometimes
like that.
she needs you to be the husband.
Sasa, Mimi, if it wasn't for therapy to pick that one out,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have seen it.
It's not
Like,
easy. It's
like
not easy.
alikuwa nakaa ananiambia, you know, huyo mother alikuwa mtough, Grace. If you're watching this, I love you. Anaitwa Agnes, my therapist.
She's a therapist.
Okay. Alikaa akaniambia, you know, your wife needs you as a husband. Nikaenda, what? But akasema, no. Unaona hizi vitu unafanya? Those are caregiving things. Husbands do different things.
But let me tell you, let me give you a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
It's not a Krowbar thing, it's a male thing.
It is.
A lot of men have, it's called cognitive dissonance, where they see women in one frame.
Yes.
That's why people can't see your wife as a free spirit and still your wife.
Yeah.
She's a CEO and still your wife. Sometimes people can't see that. But those who are able to do it, they're able to harness their wives or
the
their
best
women
out of that.
360.
Yeah.
So it's not you. It's not
I like
just
that. I like
special
that.
to you. It's
Yes.
common to all men. Mmesikia mjua hizo vitu. But I'm hopeful. I know things are going to
I
get
am
better.
optimistic.
You guys are healing.
Yes.
It's really, really good. And it's always good to share your journey because kuna wengine, nimekwambia, a lot of people are watching their spouses die.
Yeah.
Because we've gotten to a point where we're really hating each other. The male and female relationship is
The
really
reason,
hateful.
one
right
of the
now.
reasons I've noticed people walk away is banking. If you haven't banked in your partner, when times to withdraw comes and you haven't deposited,
But Krowbar, unajua pia kuna ile bank. Unakumbuka ile bank ilifungangwa hapo?
yes.
Watu walibank.
Watu
wana bank.
But
Sia,
no.
tuna bank.
Me sasa siongea about a
Tuna
little.
bank.
Me naongea about banking within you.
Okay.
If let me tell you, I've invested a lot in my wife. Even my wife has invested a lot in me.
Yeah.
Yani she has a plethora to withdraw from.
Wait, atia what?
Sorry about that.
Plethora.
Hiyo ni nini umeita hiyo ni privilege inaongea. Haya, so I deposit a lot in me. Akona a lot to withdraw from. That is one. Two is one of the things me and my wife we prayed for was let us not look like what we are going through.
Yes.
Ake told God tusiwaika mtu asiwahi niangalia nihurumie. Mtu asiwahi angalia wife ya mine amhurumie. And I'm telling you, Kate, you'll have the girl here. You look at her, you'll not feel sorry for her.
Way.
For real. You
But that's
won't.
what you need. You don't need to feel pity.
Me, I don't like being
Pity
felt.
doesn't even help you.
There are people who like being felt sorry for. I don't.
Me neither.
I just don't. And God answered that prayer.
Yeah.
Because I don't look like what I'm going through.
I like that.
Yeah.
Man, you have had such a beautiful journey. It's becoming full circle.
Yeah,
Ule Krowbar wa nini wakiwa kwa club na promote nini. Sai alikuwa anajua atafika SS ngapi?
Ati. See God, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me over, man.
Oh man, I've had a good time. It's full circle for sure.
It is.
I want to know what's the next step. What are because we're not going to be teachers forever. After being a teacher, what are we doing?
Me, I'm in the business of changing lives.
Okay.
That's the business I'm in. So wherever I'm in, I'll be changing lives. Whether I'm DJing, whether I'm in the studio, whether I'm in a classroom. Me, I don't know what will happen next. Where I'm living in a season where let me cherish the now. I'm with Kate now. Let me give Kate my time.
Okay.
Let me be faithful with these minutes that I have with you.
Yeah.
Menishika.
Yeah.
I don't know what will happen next. Between me and you in the next 2 years, I'm at 3. Menishika. But these moments, wacha nikuwe faithful nazo.
For sure.
Faithful. I'm just being faithful with the moments that I have.
I like that. I like that. Remember, you can stream us live on Boomplay, Spotify, YouTube, and of course, remember, this is the POV podcast.